Hi, coaches. Welcome back to Big Rule the World as we continue our Fear the Wing series. This is, I think, episode 3 I've been filming for you on quarantine. Again, I'll be off quarantine by the time this gets there. Don't hit me up and say, hey, while you're on quarantine, do this. We're coming toward the end here. We have 2 more episodes to go in our single wing series. Today, we're just going to analyze what it takes to be a single wing offensive lineman. But first, I just want to say this series has been fun. This series has been great. I'd put it right up there with my Wing T deep dive on series that I've had fun with. One thing we've been pushing this month, our Google Classroom series. You want to get better, guys. You want to make your team better. Now until Super Bowl 55, our video series on Google Classroom, just $30. Have me build your own Google Classroom for another $30. You want to learn how to use stats online, film annotations, scouting reports online, everything that you can do, integrate your coaches systems into it. You can have your coaches meetings at the comfort of your own house. All these things that can make it better for you guys, can make you better coaches, can make it simpler to run your system, simpler for your players, simpler for your coaches. All these things can make your program better, so I would focus on that and focus on trying to get better. Take some time, invest in that today. Now, the single wing offensive lineman. First big one to talk about is the center, okay? The shotgun snap. Why do I put the shotgun snap there? Because you have the shotgun snap in a lot of offenses. Because depending on how your single wing is, okay, your shotgun snap might just be to an area that's in between two backs. You might have your single wing center having to snap to the blocking back, to the tailback, to the quarterback. He might have to directional snap. Largely, you're working on him with the back block. I'm going to talk in a minute why the other linemen change so much. Why the single wing is fun. So, see, I look at it almost like the spread offense. Well, I hate the term the spread offense. Spread's a formation, not an offense. But, your single wing offense can have so many different things about it. It can have, what's your base series. You don't have to all run the same. Okay, I know teams that run buck lateral who never run spinner. I know teams who run spinner who never run buck lateral. It all depends on what you want to make your base. Okay, and that dictates what your offensive linemen are going to be like. But, I think the center, sort of as a whole, he has to be well-versed in that shotgun snap. He has to be able to make the back block. You might have center who can do a direct shotgun snap, like in a traditional shotgun air raid, shotgun spread power offense, but he may not be able to directional snap. He may not be able to snap in between the quarterback and the running back. So that's going to determine what you're going to do a lot of times. He needs to be athletic. He needs to be able to move his feet. I don't think he can just sit there and snap and not move their feet and take up space. Okay, I think he's going to have to back block a lot. I think he's going to have to get out and call the offense. So he's got to be bright. He's got to be bright. He's got to recognize different fronts. I think this is universal. Now, for the other offensive linemen, I think you really need to know your offensive identity within the single wing, just like in any offense. What are your base plays or series going to be? Are you going to run the spinner series? Are you going to run the buck lateral series? Are you going to be more trying to overpower people, going with sweep, going with power, going with just, getting bodies on bodies and getting as many people to the play gap as you can? Or are you going to be deceptive and going with traps and pulls and this and that? Are you going to sweep? Are you going to trap? Are you going to pin and pull on your sweep? You have to answer all these questions because it determines what the rest of your offensive linemen are going to be like. When I did this Wing T series, I largely did it based on, the different positions. I did it with tackles. I did it with guards and how it looks like there. Today, I'm just going to talk based on what your offensive lineman looks like based on your offensive identity. If you're choosing the offensive identity of trapping and pulling, I think you can do this with a much smaller group. Athleticism, oversized, people who can do the down blocks, people who can pull. You're going with the rules dab down backer generally. So I don't think it necessarily requires you to be overpowering. You're getting all those angles. I think you got to be smart because I think you have to be able to use your angles more as you get to the smaller, more athletic guys. The tackles have to become experts at that down block. getting their guys on the path that they need. Spread like offensive linemen, I think when, we talk about when the spread formation came into vogue, air raid, all of that, you talked about taking tight ends, making them tackles, taking fullbacks, making them guards. I think you can get that here, but you have your tight ends and you have your fullbacks in this. Sweep. How are you going to sweep? Are you going bodies on bodies reach blocking? Or are you pinning and pulling? That's a big question here. That might determine if you put a more athletic fullback like guard in. Okay. If you're bigger and stronger. Okay. This is where I would put in bigger, stronger guys to get bodies on bodies at the point of attack. I would put in my big boys. I would train them up to have athletic feet, but able to get their position with that strong upper body to push the defensive lineman around. That's what I'm looking for when I'm building a single wing offensive line. The big thing being, how should you build it? Look at the athletes that you have, okay? Look at your running backs. Look at, look at your backs, look at your linemen. Okay, do you have a stable of backs? Then I would go for a deceptive offense. Do you have one heavy hitter runner? Then I would go for an overpowering one. Or how do your offensive linemen look? Are your offensive linemen ready to bludgeon people, or do we need to go more power, more trap, stuff like that? What offensive line can do well in your system? Answer that and then build your offense around it. Because if you build it around your offensive lineman, I tend to believe that the offensive lineman kids that you get, you might get a stellar back here and there. But I think your offensive lineman, largely where you're at, they keep coming. I don't think I've ever seen, a school that has huge guys walking around the hallways, only once every 20 years. Usually they all have huge guys. Or usually if a school has to build itself over smaller, more athletic offensive linemen, that's usually what they are for 20 years. Okay, look at the offensive line athletes you can and build your offense around that. All right. Discover that the single wing, much like any shotgun type offense, can really be built to see what you want to do with it. Okay, you can out formation them. I think if you look at Rick Darlington's single wing offense, it's going to be different than anything I see coming out of Giles County, Virginia. Okay, where they run the single wing like crazy. You can have fun with a single wing and be creative with it. That's what we're going to talk about in our last episode of the series, sort of wrapping up the single wing and what makes the single wing special. But remember, until then, coaches, remember for next time, we all want to score points. To do that, we got to dominate in the trenches. And to dominate in the trenches, we got to know and we got to remember that bigs rule the world. I'll see you next time, coaches.